take a look at what kind of national parks are within a few hours drive from where you're at. You can get a lifelong handicap pass for the national parks that allows you and the people that are with you to park for free, to get into the park for free. Hi, it's Nani, and welcome to the Chronicles of Nani, our cyber coffee shop where we talk about living with multiple sclerosis, or for that matter, most chronic illnesses, and definitely living and getting the most out of life when you're existing in a wheelchair every time that you leave the comfort of your recliner that you vlog from. While I get my coffee to get the coffee shop going, hit that subscribe button, and the little bell that's next to the subscribe button will not only subscribe you to the vlog, but it'll send you reminders when there's a new vlog out. And now that you're all subscribed up, if you haven't already been, now coffee shop coffee. You'll notice that today's mug says Cincinnati, Cincinnati, Cincinnati. I've been to Cincinnati quite a few times because when I lived in Metro Detroit, it really wasn't that far away to go for an overnight trip, even a day trip. And as a big Reds fan, the Reds and Tigers are my teams and baseball is my sport. So there were a lot of times that I found myself in Cincinnati. Okay, I planned to be in Cincinnati to see the Reds, especially in the 90s when we had lots of superstations and that, but we didn't have the ability to see Reds games on TV so much unless they were playing the Braves. If I wanted to see Barry Larkin and my favorite Reds, I definitely had to go to Cincinnati, and I did quite often. Now, the wonderful thing about living in Toledo is I get to see Reds games and Tigers games. It's like the perfect place for me. Just on our regular cable subscription, we see Reds and Tigers all the time, which is great because I can sit there with the remote and kick back in my chair and just flip between the two games, and I can watch both of them. Much as I love commercials, when the Reds and Tigers are on, I don't watch commercials. Commercial means it's time to flip back and see how things are going on the other game. Those of you that did see the vlog I did last year about sports and my frustration with sports, especially baseball, the players wanting their money in light of COVID. Okay, we've got to figure out a way to play. I still want my money, my contract. I've got free agency up. I've heard it so many times. Baseball is a business. It's not just a sport. It's a business first. And I'm a fan first. So I don't really care about your business. I care about what you're giving to the fans. So last year, I boycotted baseball. But going into this year, I can't stay mad at baseball. But this is not, I repeat, not a vlog about baseball. Although baseball does fit into it. But this vlog is about overnighters. That is that I may be in a wheelchair all the time. And I can't stand up at all. So I have to have a lift that takes me out of the recliner and puts me in the wheelchair or puts me in the bed. The truth is, I can't stand up, so I can't even put pants on without help, and laying in the bed first and helping put my pants on while I'm in the bed. And then I can move to the wheelchair, and the rest of me can be dressed once I'm in the wheelchair, the bra, shirt, stuff like that. Great thing about that is my husband can do that, which means that he and I can go on overnight trips, and we can go up and see a baseball game and stay at a hotel, and I sleep in the wheelchair. Can I go one night sleeping in the wheelchair and I don't get to change pants, but I can bring a change shirt, so I don't look like I didn't change clothes? Can I give up my girliness to get out of the house? And that's a no-brainer. Absolutely. I can, it's tougher in the summer, especially if you're in a hot car and you sweat a lot. That's what I've got this for. The cooling towel. I can wear this around my neck, sort of as cowl, and it's wonderful for keeping me cool and keeping me from feeling overheated. And there's also a Chronicles of Nani vlog about ways to keep cool in the summer. So you definitely could check that out too. But the cooling cloths are wonderful for helping you stay cool in the summer. That's true if you're doing anything outside. To just have a scarf around your neck that's cool. Everybody's got certain places where heat affects them more. With me, if I've got something around the back of my neck that's cool, that helps keep my whole body cooled off. And with other people and with me sometimes too, if you have something cold on the top of your head, so you can wear it sort of like a veil over top of your head, or you can wear a headband. And my husband has even done that because it keeps him cooled off in the summer. We've done a couple of trips where we've chased trains, because that is something that we did together right from the start, because he and I both had a love for trains, and we would go after trains and photograph them. If it's something where I can get out of the car and watch the trains and photograph the trains from outside of the car, I absolutely love it. If it's one of those things where I'm clamped down in the car and we're chasing really fast and he jumps out, gets a picture, and jumps back in the car, not so crazy about that, because he's having all the fun and I'm sitting in a hot car. But for an overnight trip, Cincinnati's definitely one of those overnight type places. It's far enough away that it's more comfortable, and you can do more if you make it an overnight trip. And in Cincinnati, they've got Union Station that has lots of museums inside of it that you can go to. They have a zoo if it's a day that's a good day for you to be outdoors. You can definitely go to the Cincinnati Zoo. There's the Newport Aquarium. There is Grader's, which is Cincinnati ice cream, And if you go to the Grater's Ice Cream Parlor, oh my, that's a wonderful destination for an overnight trip to make a point of stopping and having some ice cream. I think if you're traveling in the summer, well, actually, fall, spring, winter, I'm kind of an ice cream freak, so it's always a good time to make a stop for ice cream. But there are lots of things that you can do depending on where you're at for an overnight trip. If it's 4 or 5 hours away, I don't know. For me, that's the limit of what I can handle being in the car. Give me like a 4-hour trip or a 5-hour trip. I can handle being in the car because there are lots of bumps, and if you're in a wheelchair, you feel every bump you go over. And then I need to get out of the car. I need to do something where it's not quite so bumpy, or where it's just a smoother ride and I'm seeing some interesting things. Because my wheelchair, I sit up high enough that I can't even really look out the windows of the car and see an awful lot. But once I get out of the car, there are all kinds of fun things. Depending on where you live, possible overnighters could even be Las Vegas or St. Louis or Chicago. I think from where we're at, we could do Chicago and spend the night in Chicago. They've got fabulous art museum with museums. I think those were the first places that even had wheelchairs you could borrow if you didn't walk that well, but you wanted to see the museum. So they're definitely wheelchair friendly, and we're not so far away that we couldn't spend an overnight trip in Toronto, and there are a ton of different things to check out in Toronto after we get over the COVID situation. And because right now Canada is still pretty locked up. You have to have a 6-day quarantine at this time before you can go any place in Canada, which means that I'd have to spend a week in Canada to get a chocolate bar. Canadian chocolate, it's just better than American chocolate, my opinion. But yeah, I would go to Canada just to get in fact, I have a passport so that I can go to Canada and buy chocolate. But speaking of passports, take a look at what kind of national parks are within a few hours drive from where you're at. You can get a lifelong handicap pass for the national parks. That allows you and the people that are with you to park for free, to get into the park for free. And you can, and they're all wheelchair friendly, so that you can see different parts of the park. So yes, you can, with that pass, you can get into the Grand Canyon and check that out for free. So depending on what is a day trip from where you're at, or an overnight trip from where you're at, there are lots of things that you can see. Disability Resource Community, and the URL for that will be included in the description on YouTube. But that has all kinds of different things that you can do, and different places, and different just all kinds of things that if you're with a disability, if you're in a wheelchair, that you can do. And that includes information on how you get your lifelong pass for the national parks. We also have our national parks passport that you can get a stamp on anytime you go to a national park. They'll put a stamp in your passport that you've been there, which is kind of cool. So you can collect the national parks. So definitely check out the Disability Resource Center because they've got some wonderful information. And like I said, I just liked what I saw when I checked the site out. And there's more that I want to go back and read about because I was just looking for URL that I could share about how it is that you can get your National Parks Pass. If you are in a wheelchair and something where you need assistance, then definitely consider that. There are lots of places, depending on where you're at, that could be an overnight trip. If you are within 4 or 5 hours from St. Louis, you can use that pass to get into the St. Louis Gateway Arch for free. Just some fascinating information that you can find out about the Arch and about the area in the museum that's at the base of the Arch. So you could definitely, even if you can't go to the top of the Arch, there's a lot to be seen there too. And it's a national landmark and you can get in for free. So if St. Louis is something that's close, they've got the Arch, they've got baseball, they've got the Bowling Hall of Fame, which is, there are a lot of things that you can find that are, there's a Bowling Hall of Fame. And if you are a bowler, or if you were a bowler, or if you enjoy watching bowling, then you can definitely find some interesting things. I'm sure. I've not been to the Bowling Hall of Fame. I did go to the Football Hall of Fame, and surprised me that, wow, I really do know who these players are. Who knew? Football is my, actually it's my number 3 sport, because my number 2 sport would definitely be indoor soccer, which is completely an American sport. It's still soccer, but it's in a rink. It's a fun sport to watch. We haven't had a team nearby in quite a while. And it's something that my husband is saying, I don't think so. He feels the same way about bull riding. I love watching bull riding. So of course, if there's any place where you can see on an overnight trip, see bull riding or rodeo, or see a circus or a concert that you really want to see, and you just want to go someplace else and see it, that can be an overnight trip. Anything in an arena has got designated places that sets up for wheelchairs that you can see really well from wheelchair spots. So there are lots of fun things that you can do as an overnighter in a wheelchair. And all you need to have is the van and someplace that you're headed to, and you can find lots of places to go and lots of things that are lots of fun in a wheelchair for an overnight trip. Okay, so that's it for this week. No, I'm not Nani, I'm her clone. Wouldn't it be cool if everybody had a clone? Think of all that you could get done in a day. If your clone slept half the day while you were doing stuff, and then you slept while your clone was doing stuff, you could literally sleep all day and you could get everything done like you were awake for 24 hours. That would be pretty awesome. Everyone should have a clone. But no, I'm not really a clone. You know the whole story with that. Anyway, there was a lot of good stuff, and I couldn't edit it down from an hour and 15 minutes of footage to 20 minutes. I'm not even that good. So we're ending part 1 now, and next week you get to see part 2. Genius or what? So have a great week, and see you next week for part 2.